Hi everyone. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host David Tare, where I've been featuring my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. Today I'm up to song number 2732, which is Lady You Bring Me Up by the Commodores. This was released on their album In the Pocket, which came out in 1981. The single did as well, and the single went to number 8, I believe. And I'll get into the Commodores later. First, I want to talk a little bit more about this song, "Lady to Bring Me Up." By the way, Acclaim Music. I've been also featuring how each song performed on this website, acclaimmusic.net, which also does their own list of they do a list of what they consider the top 10,000 songs of the rock era, and this song did not make it on their list. But anyway, it did make it on mine at number 2732, and there's not really that much to say about it. I mean, it's just kind of a simple love song. It's a soul, dance hit. And the video is pretty cool. It shows the band playing on the basketball court, and then it shows all these beautiful women coming up to them, and then they all start dancing with the women. One of those kind of songs. But it's not a bad song. Yeah, and I remember when it was a hit. I was at the University of Michigan at the time, and there were a lot of soul bands that were very popular in the early 80s. Another big one was Kool and the Gang. They had several big hits around the same time. And I did kind of like the Commodores for a while. I guess I've said enough about the song. Maybe I'll start talking about the band now. Here's a picture of them early on. You can see they had a lot of energy, and they were, pretty typical looking funk and soul band from the late 70s and early 80s. They had their afros, and not a bad group. And I think you guys are also probably familiar with Lionel Richie. He was one of their lead singers, and he became really successful on his own in the 80s. I guess he broke up with him sometime in the early 80s, and he started doing, coming up with all these big soul hits. I think he had like three or four number one solo songs. First of them was Endless Love. I hate that song, by the way. It is on my list, but I'm not a fan of that song. I never saw the movie Endless Love. I could never bring myself to seeing that one. I'm not a huge fan of Diana Ross either. I liked her better with the Supremes. But anyway, enough of that. And I think I did prefer Lionel Richie more when he was with the Commodores. He was more soulful, not into these kind of ballads. He had a lot of other ballads that were kind of similar to Endless Love, not quite as bad as that one. But anyway, enough of that. What else can I say? I want to talk about what the hits of the Commodores were. Like I said, they were a big funk and soul band. They got started in 1968. They were all from Tuskegee, Alabama, and they were a Motown act. And the original members included Lionel Richie. I already mentioned him. He's the guy in the front, middle, I believe. Or maybe the back. I'm not even sure which one he is. But yeah, Lionel Richie, Thomas McClary, William King, they were all from the Mystics. I guess another soul band. And then the other three members were Andre Callahan, Michael Gilbert, and Milan Williams. They were from another group called the Jays, and I guess they decided to get them all together into this successful soul band called the Commodores. That was 1968, and they didn't really start hitting the charts till the mid 70s. I'll just go through what their hits were. 74, they had a song called Machine Gun, which went to number 22. In 1975, they had Slippery When Wet, which went to 19, and Sweet Love, which went to 5. In 1976, they had Just to Be Close to You, which went to number 7, and Fancy Dancer, which went to 39. In 1977, they had Easy, which went to number 4, and Brick House, which went to number 5. In 1978, they had Too Hot to Trot, which went to number 24, and Three Times a Lady, that was their first number 1, and Flying High, which went to 38. In 1979, they had Ceylon, which went to number 4, and Still, which was their second number one. And then in 1980, they had a song called Wonderland, which went to number 25, and Old Fashioned Love, which went to 20. In 1981, they had the one I'm featuring today, Lady You Bring Me Up, which went to number 8, and Oh No, which went to number 4. And finally, they did have a hit without Lionel Richie in 1985. I think it was one of the best songs, actually. It was called Night Shift, and this went to number 3. And this one is coming up on my list. And I guess the main reason I like Night Shift is because it's a tribute to two really great musicians who had just recently died, namely Marvin Gaye and Jackie Wilson. Anyway, so that was their hits, and I guess that completes my video on Lady You Bring Me Up by the Commodores. So thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time. Bye.